Fuck is this piece of shit?
We just watched Halloween Ends.
It's not a legacy I want to leave behind, but I am Chuck Nasty.
How the fuck am I out of whiskey?
Welcome to the store.
So weird place to put it.
Let's do one of those nights.
What that background noise was my phone. Welcome to the store. Welcome to Video Store Clerks. We are your clerks. I'm Dave.
I'm Chad, man.
I'm Chuck.
And joining us tonight, he is the owner of Leasure Trading Companies. Links to his YouTube channel and eBay are down below and in the description. Thank you. His company offers a wide range of collectibles and vintage items that he has collected from all around the world in his very many travels. And he is joining us tonight. He is Mr. Mike Leasure. Mike?
What's up, brothers? Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us on this very special night.
Is that what we're calling this? A very special night? This isn't like a Charlie Brown Christmas episode, okay? Death of a franchise. We'll get to it.
Well, this should be interesting. Warning, spoilers ahead, obviously. It's hard to talk about this movie at all without talking about this movie and providing spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and for some reason, whatever reason, you do want to go watch it on your Peacock, tune out now. We'll give you 5 seconds.
Or even any of the Halloween films, because we're probably going to go into a lot of other shit as well.
I'm hoping we do. I'd say we would. Yeah, I've got my collection over here that I'm waiting to just throw up on the screen and maybe read some backs or whatever.
So I would expect franchise spoilers.
Yes, whole franchise spoilers. I would expect us to go into this new trilogy, the originals, and yes, probably even the Rob Zombie movies will come up a time or two.
We might as well. It's a night of dumpster fires.
Speaking of shitty movies.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get started, shall we? My overall problem with this film, and there are many, is that it was just false advertising. The posters, the trailers, everything led up to the final showdown between Laurie and Michael. This was Corey's movie. That's what we got. This was Corey's movie, which might have been a fine movie on his own, but it wasn't. Like, did anybody else 45 minutes into this movie pick up their remote just to make sure they were watching Halloween Ends?
I was really baked and forgot I was watching Halloween Ends.
I was actually in the theater watching it for the first time, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Did I go in the wrong one?
Yeah.
Did I go into the Hallmark suspense thriller theater? That's what that's it. This movie rubbed me so wrong.
I'm almost positive 4 writers came up with this. And I think that was part of the problem, because when you watch this movie, you can tell 4 different writers did this movie. I really think they only knew what to do with the last 10 minutes. Oh, shit. What else are we going to do? And that's when Corey came in.
So they're fucking
came down to the final showdown, and we no longer needed Corey. We just up and killed them all.
Yeah.
And I don't hear anybody else asking, how the fuck did Corey overpower Michael Myers?
Because they made Michael an old frail man.
There are so many fucking questions. That's the biggest fucking thing is you're going into this film. It's the third in a trilogy. So you're expecting everything to get wrapped up. You're going to get answers to anything you had in those first 2 films. But no, you go in and you come out with twice as many questions as you went in the fucking movie. So it was just like, it was the biggest thing for me was logic and just trying to figure out what the fuck they were trying to do with this movie.
Too much at once.
Yeah.
There was no
lot
point.
going on.
There was since we brought it up, let's go ahead and touch base on the Corey fucking bullshit real quick. Okay, now look, I get, again, spoilers, kids. I get what they were trying to do. Awesome, like we haven't seen it 1,000 times before. Young blood comes in, old blood's getting old. That's not how a Halloween movie works. That's not how Michael Myers works. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is he living in a fucking sewer for 4 years? Like, shouldn't he be kind of healed up from the beating by that point? His whole thing is we've always pretty much just like, he just heals himself. It's never really been said, but it's just like he's pure evil. How does pure evil become old and frail? Like, yeah. It goes along with how I feel about the Rob Zombie movies. It kills a little piece of what we all love about it. We don't really need to know a background, like a full extensive background. We don't really fucking need to know much about him. He's the Shape. That's why he's called the Shape, because he's an enigma. We don't need him growing old and being I need help. Look, I'm sympathetic and I can see your pain. When has Michael Myers ever been sympathetic? When? He kills everything in his way.
And that's what was so good about the first film, was it was just some kid in any town, USA, who just one night, he's a normal kid, and then all of a sudden kills his sister for no reason. Nothing's explained. He just snapped. And that's what made it scary. I think that's what Carpenter was going for, was like, this could be in any town in the United States. It could be your neighbor's kid. It could be anybody that just is consumed by evil all of a sudden and wants to kill. And that was what made it scary. There was no rhyme or reason, and he wasn't judgmental. He'll kill women, men, children, anything, dogs.
I mean, fuck. And he went after the character of Jamie, in 6. He was going to kill that baby if he got a hold of it. Yeah. God knows what Michael Myers would have done to a baby. Probably some horrible things. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's also Michael Myers.
Those movies back then, though, like just leaving shit unexplained, left more for the imagination, which could even bring to different people like different sides and darker personas of the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I love 6. I get a lot of shit for it, but I also love Jason Goes to Hell, and everybody hates that movie too. What can I say? I'm a fan of stupid shit. I don't know. Like, should we go back before we really get in to the ends anymore? Should we go back to the beginning of this trilogy and just do a recap?
I just want to say one more thing while I'm thinking about it,
and then we'll get back to it. Yeah.
So the night the movie came out, I was scrolling through my Twitter feed when I came across that tweet by Stephen King. And next thing you know, it's like posted everywhere, and that's everyone that liked this movie, that became the center of their argument.
Well, Stephen King liked it.
Because his thing
cool.
was character driven. He put out this sarcastic fucking tweet. I sensed a lot of sass in that tweet. That it was character driven. Fine. It was up until the last 10 minutes when you had to get the character out of there. And he sat up and said, if I can't have her, nobody can, or whatever. And then stabs himself in the throat. And then Michael comes in and kills him. And kills him for like the 3rd time, because I think he got shot before that, didn't he?
He got shot twice, but it was just like in the shoulder. So he could have survived that easily. But yeah.
Why bring in a new fucking character?
Yeah, at this point. And he was character driven up until that point. Up until that point, you just ruined the whole thing. The whole movie was building that up, and you just up and killed off that character like that.
Would have made more sense if they would have brought him in a second.
If he was character driven, he would have redeemed himself. He would have went to fight Michael. He would have went to save Laurie and fight Michael like fucking Darth Vader or something in the end.
Yeah. But what a fucking bait and switch. Total fucking bait and switch, because it's like, okay, if you took this script and you just made it into a different film that's not Halloween, where, it's some kid that comes across a serial killer in a sewer, and it's the same script, just not Halloween, it would probably be fine by a standalone movie itself. But trying to make it into a Halloween movie, especially the 3rd in the trilogy, it's like, what are you doing? Like, total bait and switch. All the trailers, everything that's leading up to this is basically selling us on Laurie versus Michael, the main event, what you've been waiting for this whole time, to the death, good versus evil, and that's not what we got.
Exactly. Even the posters, it was just those two, and they weren't the main characters. Not even Laurie was the main character.
Mm-mm.
And in any trilogy, like whenever it's the last fucking installment to any franchise, you're not supposed to like reinvent a whole new story and a new character.
Even if this had been the first movie, you might have been able to do something with it. But
it would have made more sense if it came out in Kills. If they would have done something with the whole Corey thing, I mean, you can't. Why bring a character in like that and so like prominent? You know what I mean? Like at the very end of a trilogy, when it's the end.
My theory is that they're setting it up for another trilogy. I know this is the end of the Blumhouse trilogy, but I feel like this is a segue into another trilogy.
Yeah.
And it just gave that feeling where, okay, we're going to set up the backstory of Corey and Allison and all this, and it's going to lead to something else down the line, you know, because they left little things that kind of make me think there's going to be more to it. It's like you're like, everybody's like, well, Corey can't be the new Michael because he's fucking dead. Well, yeah, but you go back and it's like they hooked up before he died. So are they going to have Allison have his fucking evil baby in her, you know, or some dumb shit that they're going to come up with down the road?
It's people like Chucky. I mean, see the Chucky.
Yeah. It's like I feel like it's going in that direction, and it's going to be terrible. But I don't know.
Well, the thing is that makes me wonder about it is because Mustafa Akkad. One thing that was the agreement when they kept making movies and he kept producing them. Michael can't die. Jamie Lee Curtis was talking about this when Kills came out. When she was asking about being a part of all this, and she wanted Laurie Strode to be dead a long time ago, but they wouldn't let it happen. I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this trilogy, and she's like, all right, you know, as long as it's the end, like, you know, whatever the fuck. But she said that the one thing was that Michael can't die, and I don't know how. I can't remember her reason why they were able to do something like this, but I don't even think she gave a real straight answer. But it leaves me wondering, like, okay, if the contract was he can't die, Mustafa's been dead for a minute, and his son's taken over, like, you think he's just gonna, like, you know, let that be like in the past, or you think he's gonna keep going like what his dad did, what, you know, was wanting. So most likely we're probably gonna get that you know, seed of Michael, you know, and I hate to say it, but that at this point I probably like just keep digging our fucking dicks in the ground, okay? It's spitting in our fucking faces over and over again. Just keep doing it. You know, at this point we're used to the abuse. Oh, God.
They know people will watch it no matter what. You know, it's I could see Mustafa Akkad's, what is it, his son or is it grandson that took over the franchise? Malik?
I can't remember. It's one of those.
Either one. I could see them like saying, okay, look, we're going to set this up for another trilogy. We're going to make a deal with Netflix for whatever millions of dollars, and we're going to kind of reinvent the wheel where it's like, it's going to be Halloween. It's going to have the Michael Myers mask because they specifically show that at the very end of the film where the mask is still sitting on the table. Why the fuck would you keep it? But whatever. You know, they're going to have, okay, fucking, she ends up having Corey's kid, and Corey was touched by Michael, and that's how they're going to try to do the backstory type thing. And that's what Halloween has never had, was a real backstory. And to me, that's what made it good, was that you didn't need a reason. You didn't, you know, anytime, like, especially with the Rob Zombie films, when you try to humanize the monster, then it takes away, in my opinion, it makes it less interesting.
And that's what irritates me the most, is when they take his fucking mask off. That's what got me with Kills so much, is when they take his fucking mask off.
Yeah, they do it like 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never take the mask off. We don't want to see the monster, the real monsters.
Yeah, and Kills, when you put the mask back on, though, like, you think it's gonna be like, okay, it's on, because he's just, but like, a very Jason-esque way, puts the mask on. Like, let's be honest here. I've said it before. Like, Kills is a Friday the 13th movie with Michael's mask on it. Like, that was, what? I didn't like Kills that much either, but at least Kills had kills. And,
Right.
and it had some decent stuff in it. This movie was boring and confusing.
The best kill in this movie is whenever the fucking little kid in the beginning gets smacked by a door and falls 3 floors to his death. That was like the beginning of the movie, so I figured for sure we was going to be seeing some crazy shit.
Like,
Well,
why?
You don't see shit.
Yeah, after that, it was 50 minutes. I think it was the 50-minute mark before we got a kill. I think it was that part in the sewer.
They said it wasn't going to be a typical slasher film. They said that it was going to have a different take on it, whatever. It was a fucking mess. I don't understand. I don't get why anybody that says, "Oh, this is a really good movie." I mean, okay, everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's fucking fine. I get it. Good job. You have your own opinion. I do too. All right. The thing is, if you're a true fucking fan of this, it blows my mind how you can actually watch it and be like, "Oh, they did it justice." No, they did Michael Myers wrong. So wrong. Now, big spoiler. Oh, big spoiler. Big spoiler. The way he dies. Put him in a... First off, slice his fucking wrists. Slice his fucking throat. Leaves him like he's not able to move because he's on a fucking table held in by knives.
And he had the refrigerator dumped on his legs.
Yeah. And they put him on a fucking on a fucking chariot-like way on top of a fucking car. And everybody just goes to a fucking grinder and throws him in. Now, if they would have let him wake up, like he just grabs Lori, and just the last thing you see is her fucking getting just chunked. Dude, please, blood, guts everywhere. Just that last scene, give us something. Nope. They let him right through the grinder.
I wanted to see them both die too. Like that was the only real way to do anything any justice.
I wanted to see it. It was time. And the one thing I thought was for sure going to happen didn't happen.
Right.
Huh? What? You said you wanted him to die. She's been leading us to believe she's going to die. She didn't die. I'm mad. I don't know. I'm so over like all this, like these reboots and shit of things. I get so excited for them and I watch them and I'm like, I don't know. This one really pissed me off.
I think I've read online some of the interviews with David Gordon Green, and he was saying how in this one they decided to. I think they filmed a couple different endings, but they ended up going with like the happy ending for Laurie because in the rest of the films they were just sad, bleak endings, and they didn't want to do that again. So they decided to go in a different direction. I think they even did some test screenings with the original ending, and it just didn't go over well. So they decided to go with this one. So I can't even imagine what those others were.
I mean, seriously, if you would just pulled her in, I'd be like, okay, redeemed. Cool. Nope.
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 I don't know about redeemed, but a little bit better
ending.
Yeah. I tried watching the movie 3 fucking times. Like
they really should have started it off where 2 let off. Like instead of fucking fast forwarding 4 years to fucking Lori being a writer and taking care of her granddaughter and her being a whore, pretty much because she fell in love with Corey in like a day or 2.
Well, that was the original plan, wasn't it? All 3 movies were going to be on one night. Like they took place.
I mean, it'd have been a lot better.
That's what I thought.
The pandemic fucked it up.
Yeah, like it did a lot of things.
I mean, I feel like once the pandemic hit, it gave them time to kind of reflect on the second one. And it seemed to me like they just kind of went back and looked at the reviews of the second one and saw how much heat people had with different things in that film. They're like, okay, well, people didn't really like the idea of him being supernatural, so we're going to take that away from him in this one. Or they didn't like the idea of Lori being some cuckoo nut job, and we're going to make her more normal in this one. Because it seems like they just completely flip-flop everything from the second one. It makes no sense to me. You would think that after the second film, where this fucking guy has killed like 30 people in the town, including her daughter, that she would be out for it. Like I would, if I'm writing the script, Halloween Ends starts with, if you're not the same night, the same week after Halloween Kills ends, where
Not 4
it's
fucking
just
years.
it's just a nationwide manhunt for Michael Myers, and they're leading it, and they're trying to track him down, and it's just, you know, they're out to kill this fucking guy, because it's like, we've had enough. You killed all the people, like 30 some people in our community. You killed my daughter. I want to hunt you down. I want to kill you. I want revenge. Not, I'm just going to go get a new house. I'm going to start all over. Everything's hunky dory. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why would Lori act like that? Why would they even celebrate Halloween at this point? Like, you know, the fucking guy's still on the loose. Like, what parent would allow their children to go out in Haddonfield on Halloween, knowing the goddamn mass murderer is still on the loose? What fucking sense? There's no sense to anything in this new film, and it drives me bananas.
Oh, me too. It seriously is insane. I really was hoping, you know, that it would be something better, because the first one of the trilogy was good. It was 2018, 2019, whatever it was. Like, it was good. It was dark. It was serious. I was like, all right, cool. That's what we needed. We need something that wasn't so fucking hokey. And then they come out with Kills. Evil dies tonight. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. And then, here's the cheese. And then I guess it's just a pattern. Now it's confusion. And I
think what they were trying to do was make Halloween Kills more tolerable.
That's how I felt after watching Halloween Ends. I was like, well, Kills isn't that bad at all now. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna try to revive or like restore part 2 to this new trilogy, so we'll just make the third one extra shitty.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to ever see another one of these movies. We want to make sure this is really the end. Good job, guys. Good job. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. Once again, thank you for killing my childhood, assholes.
Like, they could have even made, like, Corey a copycat killer instead of somehow Michael looking into his soul and seeing all the dumb shit.
This is Michael Myers.
They never explained that either.
None of it makes sense. Okay, fucking Michael. They have what? They have this magic moment where they look into each other's eyes. And what? I don't know what the fuck Michael even saw, because there is no evil in Corey at that point. It's fucking, he killed the kid by accident. If he killed the kid on purpose, then there would be something to see. But what the hell's going on there? Like, is there a transference of evil? Like, nothing makes any sense. Why is, okay, oh my God, I'm so fucking heated about this film. I've been locked in for the last week just fucking steaming. But I could just go through every single scene and be like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Because it's like, okay, Corey falls over the bridge. Then all of a sudden, Michael drags him into the sewer. Okay, why? I don't know. But then Corey wakes up in the sewer, and he's just laying there. And Michael's nowhere to be found. Like, oh, I'm going to drag this kid into my lair here, and I'm going to just lay him down, and then I'm going to go hide in the wall, wait for him to wake up. Oh, he'll shit his pants whenever I grab a hold of him. Like, what is going on here? And it's like, why is he even dragging people into the sewer? Like, is he eating them? Is he just trying to kill them to regenerate or have some kind of energy? But okay, I think the homeless guy said that he drugged people in there every once in a while or whatever, took people in there, but once you see the visual of Corey in the sewer there, it's not like there's skeletons or anything, like showing that, okay, yeah, he's killed, 5 or 10 people over the last 4 years, right? There's no skeletons, there's no nothing, so
I think that Michael Myers was senile. They might as well had him walking around in pins. I think that's what they were trying to go for or something, because that's the only that makes any sense to me. That why? No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I think. Go
ahead.
Go on.
Well, maybe they were trying to go for, just like Peyton said, pandemic's going on, so Michael decided to, social distance in the sewer for 4 years, and Corey was able to overtake him because his immune system was compromised. He had fucking COVID, and he couldn't fight back. He's like, oh shit, man,
that's probably hiding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck?
It's like that's when he grabs Corey. That's when the look on his mask It's just like, oh shit, I shouldn't be touching him right now, too close. Like my buddy Chris or whatever that made that comment or whatever. Now it's Halloween is one of his favorite fucking movies, and he's a very positive person. He always goes with an open mind, and he didn't like this movie either, and he feels the same way we do. And but the Corey thing though, no, you're correct on that. He didn't start out evil. It was a fucking accident. But then of course they go on later on acting like, oh well, he's had this evil in him, blah blah. Nothing like that's ever said. It's just it doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. There's no point. There's no fucking point to have this in there.
I think they were trying to illustrate that after the accident, everybody treated him different, so it kind of built some kind of negative energy inside of him.
Yeah, but they made it sound like it was from the beginning or something. I mean, like I get. Okay, Michael's pure evil. Corey wasn't. Corey is an angsty, bullied kid.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not. He wasn't evil. He's not evil. He's angsty and he's pissed off, and he's had enough. Doesn't necessarily mean you're fucking evil. It means you're tired of being fucking pissed
bullies, off. Were the bullies in a marching band?
They were band members, yes.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? What the fuck?
I was just making sure.
Oh, and that mullet man, that fucking kid. Oh my god. That fucking kid, I would fucking rip that motherfucker's head off myself. Like any motherfucker looking like that tries to come up to me looking like acting like a badass, dude. I'm putting my fucking foot so far up your fucking ass, you're gonna fucking taste it till next Wednesday in your back of your throat. Like that's so fucking stupid. Don't come at me looking like that.
Did they have to be in a band? Like, why was that necessary?
I feel like the stereotypical bullies were always the jocks or whatever, so they're like, oh, this time we'll make it the band members, give them a little bit of whatever.
Band members are assholes.
At that point, Corey's 24 years old and he's being bullied by high school band members, and then on top of that, later on he'll go on to wrestle Michael Myers and take his fucking mask away. So the guy that's getting bullied by high school band members is going to take Michael Myers' mask and walk away. No.
Well, he's got the power by that point, apparently. Movie was such a cocksucker.
With that 20-foot or 30-foot drop off the bridge, and then
yeah,
he's fine.
He's fine. I've watched videos of that shit. People don't just get up and move.
He's just fucking laying on the ground and gets drug in there, and Mike fucking nursed him back.
He's a little dazed. He wakes up. He's a little dazed.
What the fuck ever?
No, his head should have been split open. His arms and legs broken. Spine being removed from his back. I mean no, nobody gets up from as high as that was, landing on straight fucking ground like that. Dude, no, that's a head splitter.
And why is the homeless guy still alive? Why does Michael allow him to live? Nothing makes sense. And that was something I went back and watched, because I watched it in the theater and I was like, I got to go back on the cock and watch it again and see if there's something I missed, because maybe there's just some little thing that I didn't catch in the theater on the first run. And I went back and watched it. And I watched that scene specifically because I was trying to figure out what the homeless guy was saying to him. And he was saying how, Michael drags people in there from time to time. Why do you let you live? And then he wanted the kid to go back in and get the mask. And then he was screaming at him that he was Michael Myers. So I don't know why the obsession with the mask so much in this film as well. Because the homeless guy wants the mask. Corey comes back for the mask. Laurie ends up keeping the mask. I don't know.
Oh, there's your next movie. It's all the mask.
Yeah,
that's the next movie. It's in the mask. It's gonna be the Curse of Michael Myers mask.
It'll finally explain Halloween 3.
Halloween Reborn.
I liked Halloween 3.
No, I'm just saying with mask, and they're gonna try to say his mask is.
Oh yeah. Well, what they're gonna do is I can see them. I already know the plot they're gonna use. They're gonna have a guy who's down on his luck, and he's going to be living in a small apartment with his little dog, and he's going to meet a woman. He's going to fall in love with her, and he's going to meet her at this club where she sings. He's going to have this mask, and then he's going to start putting this mask on, and he's going to start doing all these horrible things all the time. That's going to be the plot. The Curse of Michael Myers mask. Get it? Huh? You like that? See, it's perfect. They can totally do it. Isn't that what they do anymore? They just rip everything up. Yeah. No. They wouldn't start Jimmy Carrey. It'd start somebody else. But it'd be the same plot. You could totally do it with that.
O.J. Simpson.
See?
It gives him credibility.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about the haunted glove here, okay?
But
The lore was Michael got his power from the mask. So you have to burn the mask? Is that the trick?
Well, then why hasn't anybody done it if that's the fucking case? You know, that's the thing. These little side stories in these fucking movies. Like, okay, Halloween Kills. The cool thing about that, and actually Chris, which actually makes a good point, he does look like Michael Rooker from the movie Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, is, okay, the Donald Pleasance look-alike, the Dr. Loomis thing and Michael's, in Halloween Kills, that was cool. We didn't need the whole side story of the cop killing the other cop, and then, oh, really, Michael's really here for me, and oh, why? We didn't fucking need that, just like we didn't need fucking Corey, coming in all pissed off and angsty, fucking become the new Michael Myers, and nope, he's dead. So really, he was pointless. We wasted a fucking hour and 45 minutes of our lives. A pointless fucking plot. A pointless plot. Okay? Even us that didn't really care for Halloween Kills were going, maybe, and they gave us this. They bent us over, right? And they put a big glove on. And then they went, okay, now we're going to make a fist, and we're going to go boom, 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 over and over again until you really, really just hate your life. I didn't care for this movie. My ass still hurts. I didn't get thank you. I didn't get a kiss at the end of this movie. Okay, so I'm more mad. Okay, so it just everybody's entitled to their fucking opinions. They really are. But you know what? Majority rules.
I'm struggling to even figure out what I liked about this film. It's just so. I mean, I know if you have certain expectations going in, you're just going to be completely disappointed. If you don't have any kind of expectation, like, oh, I'm just going to go watch a Halloween movie, then you probably liked it. I don't know. But, like I said, they sold us on the main event. They sold us on Strode versus Myers to the death. And you got the fucking Corey Cunningham story, and you're just like, what the fuck's going on here? And the only thing that makes sense is if they're going to continue the franchise with some Corey's kid or some kind of connection. This is like it almost feels like this film is the backstory for whatever comes next, because otherwise it makes zero sense.
Well, like my buddy Chris over here says, Halloween 14, the fisting of Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a totally different genre, but I believe it could work because at this point, why not?
Like if they would took Mike Myers out of this whole fucking movie and like he gets tossed off the bridge, goes into the fucking sewer, finds the mask, and then puts it on and starts killing people like a copycat, that would have been a good movie. Well, better.
Yeah.
But I mean, just with him being in the movie, it fucking makes sense because he was in it for 20 minutes of screen time?
Yeah.
I mean, just give me some kind of logical explanation. It's like fucking Curse of Michael Myers. You want to have the Thorn cult and all this other shit. It's terrible storytelling to me, but at least it makes sense in some fucking world.
It was a cool idea. Like I said, I love that fucking movie. It was a cool idea. It was something that, like, okay, like you said, makes sense.
Right.
Ant-Man.
Yeah. Horrible accent he uses.
But then just so much. Why are Michael and Corey the dynamic duo of death? Fucking
The ambiguously gay duo.
I swear to God. They go to the doctor's house and they kill the doctor and the nurse. And right as that scene ends, it shows a wide shot of Corey on the motorcycle with somebody. I swear to fucking God, I thought Michael Myers was going to be riding on the back of that fucking motorcycle. I said, if they're riding on the motorcycle together with Michael Myers' arms wrapped around Corey, I'm going to walk out of this fucking film right now.
These days, man, like I didn't know either.
Myers is riding bitch.
He's back to his hair all like, and he just. oh
I
my
saw
God.
the meme where somebody photoshopped him.
Yeah,
for the Mannequin movie.
Yeah,
was that from Halloween Ends or was that from Mannequin? Because it looks like it's from the movie Mannequin.
We can build this thing together.
You calm down.
Forever.
I ended up watching that when we were doing our fucking Sylvester Stallone episode. I was trying to find it on a different like platform or whatever, and And man, no, like it was maybe it was one of the Sylvester Stallone movies. And when I clicked on it, it didn't give me that. It gave me Mannequin. I had to watch the whole fucking thing. I always loved that fucking movie. That's a fun movie. A lot better than Halloween Ends. Well,
Yeah.
funny. It's supposed to be funny. Halloween Ends isn't, and it kind of is, but kind of isn't.
It really wasn't. I was sad.
And how many people were fooled thought that Laurie Strode shot herself? And apparently had orange goo.
That's in the fucking trailer. They fucking spoiled that with the trailer. You knew the door was going to open. She was going to be holding the gun. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then again, she gives up like 3 different times in this film. Like, whatever. Okay, so she shoots Corey. She goes down. He's shot laying there. She decides to take the gun and shoot into the wall 2 more times and empty out the rounds for whatever reason. And then she's like, well, you came here to kill me, so do it. Like, what? What the fuck is going on here? And then the fucking guy gets up and then he decides to say, well, if I can't have her, and stabs himself in the throat. What sense does that make? If you say, well, if I can't have her, nobody else can have her, that would imply in my mind that as soon as that door opens, he's going to grab her and stab her. Because if I can't have her, nobody can. But if I say, if I can't have her, why am I going to kill myself? What the fuck sense does that make? I mean, come on. Oh.
I thought he was going to kill her, too. Whenever he said that, then he fucking just jarred that shit and big ass.
Kill all of them.
But then somehow he was still alive after that, even though he would have bled out in like 2 minutes.
Well, if you're dead, isn't she going to find somebody else?
I mean, that's what we're saying.
And then she walks in, and her grandmother standing there with a knife. Oh, what'd you do? What'd you do? You can't fucking tell that your boyfriend is dressed up like Michael fucking Myers. The mask is laying right next to him. Like, does any of this make any fucking sense to you? Like, oh yeah, your grandmother just randomly dressed up a dude and fucking killed him. Like,
yeah.
And then she just turns around. She's like, "Oh, what'd you do? I'm so upset. Corey, come back."
Because she can't talk.
And then she just turns around and leaves. Like, oh, my grandmother fucking killed somebody. I guess I'm just gonna fucking take off and go see what's going on the other side of town. I mean,
going back to the having Corey storyline in there, and and killing him off so quick and all that shit or whatever. It's like, okay, you've seen Death Proof.
Yeah.
Talking about that's a character driven fucking movie. I love that movie. You see, you have all these characters and you learn about them, you get whatever, and spoiler, they all fucking die, and you're like, what the fuck? See, but it was done in a good way. What they did in this was not in a good way. In a movie like this, it's like you don't really need. We didn't need any of it. Like we didn't need a new character brought into this shit. Like that's probably one of my biggest fucking complaints. Is the fact that we didn't need that shit. Like, again, if they would have brought it in with kills and done something with it then, give us a little bit of time to be like, ooh, what's going to happen next? And they just were like, oh, here's this nerdy guy that gets picked on by high school band geeks and, people with stupid haircuts. And, like, now he's seen Michael Myers after being pushed off a fucking bridge and just being tormented. Now, I think he's a badass. I don't know. He accidentally killed 2 people. Accidentally. He didn't kill the homeless man on purpose. It was an accident. The guy was coming at him. And he, for some fucking reason, was like, well, time for a killing spree. Like, why? Why? Like, why?
Why? I mean, everything, even if you try to answer something, the answer contradicts, like, the next thing. It's like, okay, everybody's like, well, Michael grabs a hold of him, and there's a transference of evil into Corey. But he doesn't become evil. He doesn't fucking just want to go out and start killing mindlessly. Like, whenever he does decide to kill, he ends up killing people for a reason. He's killing the kids to get revenge. He's killing his mom because she fucked with him his whole life. He's getting revenge on all the people that did him wrong. Yeah. And that's not what Michael Myers is about. Michael Myers is pure evil. No discrimination. I'm going to kill anybody that gets in my path. And that's not what Corey's doing here. So that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, we have Jason Voorhees. We didn't need that with Michael Myers.
So I'm saying, if
Yeah.
Mike wasn't in it, it would make more sense just because he's the kid that got shit on too much and then just had enough and fucking went on a killing spree, which is usually what kind of happens in real life. Like,
Yeah, there should in real life there should be like 1,000 Michael Myers.
Oh, there are. We just haven't seen them yet. There's a down thought, but you know, I really was trying to think about the positives of this movie because I try to look at the positives with all this
I
shit.
was just thinking
You know.
stroke.
I feel like the guy playing Corey did a really good job.
Yeah,
That
dude,
the
great job.
acting is fine. The cinematography, the acting, all of that is fine. It's just the
I like the way
story.
it looked. Yeah, it's you know, it's pretty bad when your plot is the biggest plot hole in your fucking script. I mean, it's just like that's I don't know who the fuck agreed that this was a good fucking script. Like I don't know why they're getting so much fucking praise. Once again, I've gone back into this many times before. JB off of Tales of the Podcast, he hates Blumhouse with a passion, and I always stood up for Blumhouse. This might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. I think I'll stick to A24, or whatever the fuck it is. They seem to have better movies these days. Chris said the only proper way to do a sequel to this film is if the coroner from Jason Goes to Hell is psychically sent to hunt down all of the ground sausage that is now Michael Myers, and he eats it, therefore ingesting the shape spirit and becoming the new Michael Myers. And this time there's no stopping him because Creighton Duke is already dead.
Whew.
That's awesome. Like it's just like scooping him up, and you know they do it. Jason Goes to Hell. Why not?
And it's like JB said earlier. No, it's not unusual to have multiple writers. It's not unusual to have multiple directors sometimes, but
It's not unusual to
sometimes
be loved by you.
it works against you. And I think this time there was just way too much going on. And I think, like you said, with the pandemic, too much time had gone by, and that caused them to reflect. And plus, with the screenings, they changed the ending, they changed this, they changed that. Who knows? Were all four of those writers there from the beginning? I doubt it. Probably
I mean,
started with two, and probably two others came halfway through or something.
before the pandemic, like, do you think they had a better script and then they got to sit on it for fucking months and months and months and like, oh wait, let's second guess everything, and they should have went with the
I don't
original.
know. I feel like they had the first one,
Possibly.
and I feel like it was probably Blumhouse that wanted the trilogy.
Yeah,
And well, shit, we don't know what to do for a trilogy, but we're going to throw all this money at you. Well, we'll figure something out. And because
Blumhouse is this.
Rob Zombie's first Halloween was pretty good. It's like none of them can do sequels.
Just minus
No.
all the fucking backstory shit.
Yeah.
I mean, even Rob Zombie's like, okay, interesting take. It's about how you figured Rob Zombie's movie, like, you know, remake of Halloween was going to be. White trash as fuck. And we get way too much backstory. And I was like, okay, I can deal with it. I like it. It's interesting. Is it my favorite? No. And then he came out with H2. And yes, I do own it. Why? Because I'm that guy. I'm going to probably buy these fucking movies. Like, I've got the first one. I'll probably have the second. Like, the minute they come in the $5 bin in a couple of years, it'll be mine. Why? Because that's what I do. But Halloween 2, I was like, oh man, you know, you got some good things you can be working with on this, Rob. You know, I got faith in you. Got faith in you, Rob Zombie. Oh, guess what? I lost my faith in you. It's sinking. It's sinking. Oh, what the fuck did I just watch? It made no sense. There was no story in H2 at all. It was a fucking hot mess. Just like Halloween Ends is a big pile of flaming donkey shit. Dumpster fire. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing I liked about this movie. I should not watch a Halloween movie and be this angry. It's so stupid, but it's the truth. Like Halloween and Hellraiser are two movies I've been beating my head every single day since I've watched both of them. Like I know there's maybe like no, like it's fucked me up. I'm gonna need psychological help. I mean, I probably need it anyway. This doesn't fucking help.
I was happy with the Hellraiser remake. The red flags were here with this one. I mean, first they said it was going to Peacock. That's always a red flag. And then they said the reviews weren't going to come out Well, the first screenings of the movie were at 5 p.m. and they weren't letting the reviews come out till 3 p.m. That's a big red flag. That the studio doesn't have faith in it.
They did that with Halloween Kills, where they had it on Peacock that night as well. They did the simultaneous theatrical release along with the cock. So
which I was glad about.
That was because we were still kind of coming out of the pandemic at that time, so I could understand that one. But this one, I mean, horror movies have been fucking killing it at the box office.
Like, people might get more mad if they have to pay for it.
And I just think they overthink shit. Like, the Terrifier was just fucking, it was what it was. It was fucking simple. I just think they overthink it.
That's why Terrifier 2 is getting so many good reviews.
Have you all seen Terrifier 2 yet?
I haven't seen it.
It's not around here.
Okay, see, I haven't watched it either, and I am, like, dying to, because it's one of those things where, like, I really wasn't that crazy about the original. And then the more I thought about it, and the more I talked to, like, a few of my friends are like, man, like, why you should love Art the Clown. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I am a G.G. Allen fan, so I probably should. So I'm like uber excited about watching the second one.
Since fucking All Hallows Eve came out. Whenever they first introduced him, I was like, he's fucking dope.
Yeah,
that likes weird clowns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It confused the fuck out of me because I was like, wait a second. Because when Terrifier came out, I was like, I know I've seen him somewhere before.
And then we just watched Clerks 3, and then after it was over, fucking like how like the little thing pops up like your new your next recommendation movie, and it was a movie called Ginger Clown.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yep. I was like, Prime knows me very well.
Yeah. We got that clown fetish guy again.
You watching clown porn?
I no offense, I mean this with utmost respect. You probably do.
I've seen clown porn. Gary.
I have too. Someone's kind of hot. Anyway, bunch of clowns gangbanging in a small car.
That means it was just you two.
I think Phil was there.
Oh, really? Well.
Have we done a Halloween episode where have we done that with Halloween? I can't remember.
I think so.
Maybe.
Like an actual Halloween?
Like talking about the franchise. Like,
I think we did last Halloween.
What did we? I couldn't remember if we did or not.
Because that's whenever we still just had the audio. Because remember we were talking. I think it's the Evil Dies the Night episode, and we kind of talked about everything.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that other movie.
Yeah, like episode 12 or some shit. It was like one of the
Evil
first
Dies tonight.
Like shortly after I started doing it.
I don't feel so bad about Halloween Kills anymore.
That's what I'm saying. If they were making a movie to make Halloween Kills better, like they succeeded. But
I was so tilted about Halloween Kills, but then it's like now I'm reflecting on it, and I'm like, if you just take out that hospital scene and a couple other things and tweak it, like it's not that bad. You know, that's almost a more proper send off to Michael Myers because it's his highest kill count, and he's just fucking pure brutality. And now, you know, like I said, they just flip-flopped every single thing from the last film. Like, it makes zero sense. I have no idea why you would do that. But, like I said, I feel like they second-guessed themselves during that break and decided to go in a different direction, and it was the worst direction they could have went.
Like they would have just killed him in the second one and had, like, all the townspeople, like, actually beat him to death and fucking kill him. Instead of trying to fight him one-on-one when there's like 80 people outside standing with bats and shit, then that would have been like a better send-off towards him because that means like it took the whole fucking town to kill him.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Like, I was done. Like you can't really say shit about this one. Like I'm done with this one.
I was gonna say what they should have done was Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends. They should have done something totally different because we're talking about the mask. Giving power or whatever the fuck. So what we do is we get Cher, and we make it his mom, and she rides the biker group. I can't even continue with
that.
Yeah, Evil Dies tonight.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, if I were in charge of the script for the third film, it would have picked up almost instantaneously from the second film. and it's just a manhunt. They're trying to hunt him down. We're trying to get our revenge on this fucking guy. The predator becomes the prey. Like every other Halloween movie, he's hunting everybody. Now we're hunting him, and it's and you could have. I mean, you could have thrown in little things too. It's because it's like, all over the news, nationwide manhunt. Michael Myers, serial killer, is on the loose. Everybody's trying to track him down, and then you could throw in little things like, okay, you have the people that are interested in serial killers and shit like that, where they want Michael to escape. They want Michael not to get caught. So you could have done a whole thing where this group of people that are like into serial killers are trying to stop the FBI and the police from hunting Michael down, and do some shit from like kind of like in 4, where all of a sudden you've got 30 people dressed up like Michael Myers, and you don't know who the real Michael Myers is, and there's a whole different a bunch of shit you could have done that would have been a million times better than this.
I just thought of a music video. See, what they do is they get a bunch of Michael Myers, and then they have one up front that looks like all of them, and then you ask the real one to stand up.
But
I
there
don't know
has
what's
to
wrong.
be a reason, and the only reason I can think of is the reason Mike said, is that this is a setup for a new trilogy.
I've heard on a lot of different reviews. They said that some
A
other
lot of
company is
rumors.
taking over, and there's supposed to be 3 to 4 more.
Yeah, and maybe they'll be good, but maybe they
I'm not
won't.
holding my breath anymore.
I don't know. I
I'll drown.
It's like my thing is it's like if you're a comic book fan, you know that a lot of comic books have different storylines. There's a bunch of different 1 through 10 is a totally different story from the next 10, that kind of thing. And when it comes to something like this, I try to be like that with it. But man, did they screw the pooch on this one? I could sit here and rant, but I'm still speechless. I'm just like, man, really? This is what we've been waiting for? Is an arm wrestling fucking ass slap from fucking Jamie Lee Curtis and some fucking moron that we don't even fucking really know who he is. Oh yeah, and the elderly fucking Michael Myers, because evil days tonight. I don't know what the fuck. You just fucking kick one of the greatest serial killers in fucking horror movie fucking franchise history, and just make him just completely just lose everything. What the fuck? I just no.
It's one of those
no,
things.
no.
It's one of those things that sounds good on paper, but then it's like once you realize that you have a fucking 60-some-year-old man fighting like a 60-year-old woman to the death, it's not as appealing. It's like if you're a wrestling fan, fucking booking Sting versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania sounds good on paper, but then you get it live in the arena and you're like, oh, these are a couple old fucking guys that can't go anymore. So it's not going to be what I was hoping for.
So it's best just to leave it alone.
Yeah, see, because it's more like instead of Jamie Lee trying to get to the knife before Michael kills her, they're both just trying to get her tibia.
Or where is the fucking justice for Allison? You think, okay, you introduce the granddaughter in these other 2 films, you would think she's going to be the new final girl that's going to get the revenge. You killed my parents, you killed my friends. She should be the one that's fucking taking this guy out.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to have it segue from the last film where, okay, if you do back-to-back nights and, okay, Lori got stabbed and she's kind of on the mend, then you can have somebody like this character, Allison, that you've been building up, come in and be able to have those fight scenes with Michael. And there is so much more you could have done. And it's nothing. So fucking terrible. Oh, my God.
I agree with Chris here. He said, I think we need a Halloween 3 sequel / remake. Next is a buffer before the next Michael Myers movie. The time has never been better for Silver Shamrock's return. I agree. Totally.
I'm surprised they never did.
Well, because it got so much hate, they didn't want to do that again. Because, I mean, Halloween is one of the most beloved fucking, horror movie franchises. And unfortunately, Halloween 3 didn't get a fucking cult following until about fucking 10 years ago. Right. So, I mean, if that. I mean, it's for some reason I always hate it. I always enjoyed it. Was I confused as fuck as a kid when I fucking first watched it? Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the TV guide. TV Guide, kids, is one of those things that we used to get in the mail, and sometimes we get it in the store when we were all checking out. It would tell you what was coming on your programs later. We didn't have channels up until a certain point that told us what we were fucking watching. Anyway, sometimes in the said TV Guide, they would give you descriptions of shit. All I saw was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And as a kid, getting into all this shit, I was like, yes. And I'm like, all right, where's Michael Myers? I mean, it's a cool movie and all, but where's Michael Myers?
And I just kept waiting.
It's almost like the creators of this film decided, hey, we're going to take it back to '83, and we're gonna make everybody feel the same way we felt whenever we saw Halloween 3 in the theater. Because there's no internet back then. You don't know anything. You see Halloween 3. And you go, okay, I'm going to go see Halloween 3, Michael Myers. You get in there and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? And it's like you feel I was like 2 years old at the time, but I can imagine they felt the same way I feel right now after watching that third installment. In fact, they should have just called Halloween Ends Halloween 3 Season of the Bitch, because that's what they made Michael in this one.
Oh, it's true. It's true. And the thing is, also in Halloween Kills, they did show a little bit of the masks from 3. The bullies were wearing them, which, I mean, would almost lead me to believe that would be a great segue into whatever another movie they do, because they could totally do that and make it really cool if they were to like make.
They're gonna say Michael's mask is from the fucking Shamrock Company or something.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for that, and even that won't piss me off. It's all about execution, and unfortunately, they executed Michael Myers in a very unjust way, and so
He really did. He needed more of a fight. They should have both died. Like, he should have stabbed her in the throat or something, and then at the same time he was stabbing her, he gets shot in the back of the head. Like, that'd have been a far better ending.
if he just fucking like right before they threw him in the grinder, like he like wakes up, gets his strength back, whatever, and just fucking grabs her, and then fucking runs right into the fucking grinder, like fucking going out and like, you know what I mean, like a fucking blaze of glory. Like, dude, that would have been fucking cool if he like just chose to say fuck it, as long as I'm getting your ass.
It's just
you know
weird,
what I mean?
Too, how they kind of like tied him to the top of the car and had like a fucking homecoming parade, and then fucking took him to the junkyard.
Yeah, like
positive things. Yes, the opening titles were cool, I thought.
Yeah, like Chris said, the font and everything matched that of Halloween 3. So there was certain homages. They do a pretty good job with the homages in the Blumhouse trilogy. Yeah. What else was there?
That's probably about it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I usually I can find more about a movie and a franchise like this that I liked. No, this is one case where I didn't like anything about it. I thought it was mediocre and a letdown.
Don't Fear the Reaper was cool at the end.
Got a little Christine vibes in certain parts, like where he gets chewed up at the end. How they do the car and Christine and everything like that. Little homages like that, nods to John Carpenter.
They were watching The Thing again.
Yeah,
watching The Thing again. Yeah.
Don't Fear the Reaper. I will say this though, I hate that song. It's the most overused fucking song, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate that song so goddamn much. I wish they just would choose something different. But it's the same shit. The only time a movie has used a stereotypical song that made sense was the end of Devil's Rejects. That made fucking sense. Skinner. Yeah, that made perfect sense. Other than that, don't fucking put that song in any other fucking movie or anything else. Same with this. I have heard that fucking song so many fucking times. Didn't we have that with Scream and like fucking a couple other goddamn movies that came out around the same fucking time? We don't need Don't Fear the Reaper in all our fucking horror movies. It means nothing anymore. It's watered down. It's a cigarette and a fucking ashtray full of water, just like this fucking movie. God, are we about done?
We never really
throw
did
Mr. Sandman in there again. Call back.
Yeah, I noticed that too. There was, like I said, them little parts that I kind of like thought were dope, but not really dope.
Did you say Inner Sandman or Mr. Sandman?
Mr. Sandman.
I thought you said Inner Sandman. I was like, I remember hearing that in there. Probably would have made it a little bit better.
I mean, probably. But shit.
Dun, 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 dun. Tired of that song too, so fuck that. I like it better than fucking Blue Oyster Cult shit though. Anyway,
I really don't know why that, because apparently, like, Jamie Lee Curtis says she loves this movie and the way it ended.
she doesn't like
She loved
horror
the
movies.
paycheck.
So.
She's getting up there anyway, so I
Exactly.
mean, who knows? Like,
Of course, she's going to say that.
I watched an interview with her yesterday that was recent, and she even said that she doesn't like horror movies. She gives a lot of respect to the genre because it's made her what she is today. I mean, if you look about how many horror movies besides the Halloween movies she's been in some very popular, very like cult classic. That's why she is one of the Scream Queens, like the Scream Queen next to her mother, who was number one.
here she
You know,
apparently was
like-
having a bad weekend for the premiere and shit, because, like, I was watching Daniel Harris's and Scouts podcast thing, and they were saying that they
Oh
were, like,
yeah,
introducing themselves and everything, and she pretty much like acted like she didn't know any of them, never heard of their names before ever.
it wasn't even that. And they just fucking. I think they were just hurt. Like I guess the way it sounded, like Jamie Lee Curtis didn't really give a fuck to talk to. And
Right.
like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
They
ouch.
just felt hurt about the whole thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. I could see Jamie Lee Curtis being kind of a bitch, but I can also see that like she's having to run fucking from country to country, back to going out of the country, back to the country for fucking tours and shit for all this fucking shit. So yeah, she probably didn't really feel like being where she was at. She was probably told she had to go there. I noticed that's a thing with her. She doesn't like going to premieres. She doesn't like doing all that shit when it comes down to it because she goes to bed at like 7:00 at night. Like, so she hates having to fucking stay up. So I'm sure she was probably grumpy, but at the same point, come on, man. You don't know who Danielle Harris is. Like,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. She's not really a horror fan. So for her to love this movie makes sense.
But you can't put on a face at the premiere. No,
Whatever.
maybe not.
Whatever.
I don't know. I would be having a fucking blast, man. Like, that's like the dream. Like, you're a fucking horror icon, and you're just getting paid to do shit you love. Like,
Yeah.
and just go out there and just have a blast. You know why?
Embrace it.
Yeah, why even be like, oh, I'm too good for this shit. You know, I'm a bigger star than whatever.
That's what it came off as, like the way they told it. Yeah. Like, and I love both of them tremendously. I love Jamie Lee Curtis too. Obviously, I mean, she's been in a big handful of my favorite fucking movies. The Fog being one of them. And then she was in that movie with another one of my favorites from her. I can't remember the fucking name of it though. I'm drawing a blank. But it was her and Stacey Keach. It was in Australia, and Stacey Keach plays a fucking truck driver, and he ends up picking her up, and they end up fucking trying to find out who a serial killer is. It's actually kind of a funny movie too. It's a good one. I can't remember the fucking name of it. But yeah, so like she gives a lot of respect to horror movies, but she's not a horror fan. So yeah, it makes perfect sense why she'd say this is like her favorite movie, because she doesn't fucking understand why we're all fucking pissed off. Okay, cool. I know why I'm pissed off. And I love Stephen King, and if he actually fucking like loved this movie, cool. I like a bunch of movies that were put out that he hates that are based off shit he wrote. Like I don't give a shit. Like if I think a movie's not good, it's not good. My opinion.
Right.
I mean, Stephen King's assessment isn't that far off. Like I said, if you take it and make it into a completely different film that's not Halloween, that's character driven like this, then yeah, a standalone film is fine. But when you try to incorporate it into a Michael Myers storyline that's the third in a trilogy, like it falls flat completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because after part 2 with like all the deaths and shit, like you want to see something go farther than that and even more death scenes. Like, you want to see him fuck shit up.
Yeah,
You
like
don't
nobody
wanna
even
see him
cares.
playing fucking Master
Everybody
Splinter
just-
hanging out in the sewer.
Yeah, everybody's just moved on with their life. Like, what the fuck? What? The dude is
the
still
metaverse.
on the loose. The fucking
yeah.
murderer is still on the loose, and everybody's like, no big deal, no bigs.
You mean to say like no one really thought to look in the sewers and shit whenever they probably were combing the city for like the first few weeks once he just disappears?
He's not a clown, folks. We don't have to look in the sewers. It's fine. It's okay. He's not a clown. He's not that kind of killer.
Right. Georgie's not
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, right.
So this movie, fail. Let's end this episode on a happy note. Our man Chuck recently participated in the Mountains of Metal.
Number
Chat,
7.
let me know if you can see this clip. I worked hard on this, damn it.
Yeah, I know. Oh shit, is it gonna play?
Once again, we are bastard sons of a Judas goat from Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Yeah.
The bastards.
I don't think it showed
Probably not.
They could hear the audio.
because I could see it on my screen, but
Yeah,
I was
I
looking
see.
over here. I've got my laptop set up as well on YouTube streaming it, and I didn't see the video clip. So
Yeah.
Well, for anybody that heard it though, that's just a choppy edit that Dave did. So I think he did an excellent job on the video. So I'm sorry if anybody didn't get to see it. But yeah, which
the audio
it's from a song called "The Way to Live Was Painted Black." Yeah. So it was a fun one. It's good shit.
Oh, a good time.
It's good.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
it
weather
was
was good and everything.
Oh yeah, it was great, man. Getting to play outside, like in this nice little, like, little amphitheater thing that's built up out in the middle of like fucking nowhere,
Some tall
fucking
boys with some
trees.
stones.
Oh, dude, it was great. Fucking bonfire. All the bands were fucking killer. A 2-day fucking event. Of course, we were only there the one day. Yeah, it's probably we were told it was probably one of our best sets that we played, and the best that we've sounded. One of the best times we've sounded. So I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't puke, so that was good. I almost did. Well, I just about puked all over my drums the last festival we played because I was having the sun beat right down on me. But whatever. Had a lot of fun. This
metal.
round. Yeah, you got to bleed for rock and roll, and sometimes that has to do with fucking bile as well.
I forgot that I had notes from watching Halloween. I had what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Please kill me next. These were my notes that while I was reviewing it for the second time, came to mind.
They seemed like they were good notes to take down. We were all saying the same thing.
And now we can look forward to. I think David Gordon Green's gonna do The Exorcist next.
Fuck! I don't have time to don't get me started on that. Don't. Just don't. I don't have
Whenever me
time.
and Dave got here, I was like, should we rewatch Halloween Ends? And we were at the same time, we were both like, no.
Yeah, I almost did it too, and I was like, nah, don't think so.
It's interesting because looking back now, after watching these films, it made me just kind of look back at the franchise and everything like that. How much John Carpenter has just kind of taken the idea of evil and just fucking like looked around the room over the last 50, 40 years and just said, oh, well, okay, we'll take evil and we'll put it in this little boy and that'll be the film. Or we'll fucking take evil and we'll put it in this car and that'll be the film. Or we'll fucking take evil and make it fog and that'll be that film. And then we'll take evil and it'll be an alien thing that can change into its victims. It's like it's almost the same. It's just like, oh, we'll fucking take this chair and put evil in the chair. The fucking chair will start killing people. It's like he's just looking around trying to figure out what the fuck he's going to put evil in. And
Pretty sure that's already a movie.
That's why is the king. Hey guys, I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Killer Couch.
Killer Couch.
And then there's Killer Pants. I've seen all those shits. It's fucking terrible. Fucking like recliner keeps eating people. And then the other one, the pants. If you wear the pants eat you. It's kind of like chop you in half at the waist and then just eat your legs.
I know Dave wants to see that one.
It was a long movie. It was a long movie. It was bad.
Well, let's talk about what we have in store for you next week.
What are we doing next week?
Mike, would you like to tell the kids what we plan on doing next week?
Well, I don't know what you're going to be covering. I know where I'm going to be. I don't know if it's not going to just be me, but I'm going to be in Villisca, Iowa, at the Villisca Axe Murder House, and we're going to try to do a remote feed from there. You know, as long I don't know what I've never been in that part of Iowa, so I don't know how the Wi-Fi or anything like that is, what the signal is going to be like. But we're going to try to do a live feed from the actual Villisca Axe Murder House.
That's awesome.
That's
I was
the
watching
plan.
the video today about it too.
If the signal doesn't work out, obviously we'll have a backup plan. But our goal is to be able to broadcast live from the murder house that Mike's going to be staying in. So if anything happens to Mike, it'll be broadcast live.
I'm gonna
That'll
watch.
That'll be one of the best videos on YouTube. You know, fucking guy gets murdered in live stream. You know, it's like fucking. Yeah, I was about to say that fucking Halloween Resurrection coming at you. Fucking where's Busta?
I'll be sure to be on here with the candle lit, and that's it.
But I mean, are you gonna? It can't just be me, because it's like, obviously I'll have my, if as long as the signal works, I'll give you a little tour of the house and everything like that. But I mean, should you guys be covering some kind of other film, like, related?
It'll look like this. Whenever you're on, this will be you. Hopefully.
Okay.
You'll be the big box.
You'll be the big box, yes.
You'll be the big spoon, we'll be the little spoon.
But should you guys have some kind of, like, film that you're reviewing, or like just Halloween in general? Because that's a special Halloween episode, right? That's
we'll have a backup plan in case the feed doesn't work out.
I'd say we'll be able to, as long as the feed works okay, we'll be able to talk through this whole thing, and
hopefully we're hoping to get a few other people on here. Like we're gonna reach out to some people and try to get them on here next week too for fun.
Maybe just go over Halloween movies in general, horror films or whatever, the Halloween special, where you're talking about, like,
Originally we talking about Pumpkinhead.
Okay.
We should talk about haunted house movies.
I was thinking that too, because that
would make better sense.
There's a lot of those fucking movies though.
Yeah, just go over that, like House on Haunted Hill, The Haunting, that kind of shit that kind of fits in with. Yeah, there you go. we might see Casper in that fucking house. Who knows?
People, there's been shit that's happened there. I've seen videos and stuff. So I've always wanted to go. So if you don't mind me asking, how much is it to stay there overnight?
It's like $450, I think, somewhere in that area. You can have up to 7 people stay there, and I don't think it's the same stuff from back in 1912, but it's set up similar with the furniture and everything like that. They don't want you to sleep on the furniture there, from what I was told. They want you to bring, like, sleeping bags and stuff like that if you are actually going to sleep. But I don't know. We'll see.
Wouldn't sleep. I would stay there all night and then find a hotel and then crash all day long. Like, I would love to spend some time in that place. There's such a fucking darkness about that house. The crazy shit that happened there and everything that surrounded it afterwards. How they might have caught the killer, but then just thought he was crazy. How it might have been H.H. Holmes that came through and actually did it. There's just all kinds of, like, crazy, like, rumors and theories and stuff about that place. And they've still got the axe markings on the wall and shit, where the axe got stuck when he was bringing the axe down on the parents. Like, so yeah. And apparently the upstairs kids' room that had the 4 kids that were killed originally was drenched in so much blood it was leaking through the vent on the floor down into the parlor room. Yeah, crazy.
It's kind of strange that we're doing this though this week, because, like, I just watched another podcast, Scene Snobs, and they were doing a live ghost hunt in some place in Maryland. It's like by train tracks, and then Sir Sturdy and what was the other guy's name? James Taylor.
They were doing something too, weren't they?
Yeah, they the guys from Scene Snobs went there and they were hosting it. one Horse 30 show.
I
So yeah, hopefully
it is the season.
Hopefully, we can get some good footage.
They got some readings on the fucking whatever fucking reader thing.
We're supposed to have some kind of equipment. I don't know what all we're bringing, but I think there's some spirit boxes, some dowsing rods, things like that we'll be able to use and kind of see if anything happens. I know I've used the dowsing rods at the Lizzie Borden house before, and it was interesting. I got some response from that. So, and everybody, you know, I put it actually when I was using the dowsing rods, the video is on my YouTube channel, and it's just a brief clip of me using them. And the first question, you don't see it, but I ask, it's in the room where her father was murdered. And I ask, you know, can you point to where you were killed? And then the dowsing rods point to that location. And then they asked me to, because we were with a group of people. And then they were like, well, ask it another question. And I asked, can you point, is there a picture of the person who killed you in the room? Because there was always debate on whether or not Lizzie was actually the one that murdered them. And the one rod just kind of turns over to the mantle on the fireplace and points at the picture of Lizzie on there. So I always thought that was interesting, and especially with me. I'm a kind of a skeptic, and I know I didn't fucking manipulate those rods at all. You know, they say that they're attracted to certain energies and shit like that. So I can't explain it, but I know I didn't fuck with it.
That's pretty fucking cool, man. Fuck. That's awesome.
Either legit or some really good animatronics.
I the flashlights are a good tool at the Axe House because
that's another thing I've seen. I've seen in a couple of videos where they put the flashlight sitting on the tabletop or whatever, and then they ask questions or whatever. But you know, like I said, I'm kind of skeptical of these guys because obviously they're trying to get views on their channels and shit like that. So I guess there's different ways that you can kind of unscrew the flashlight thing to where it's barely touching the battery or whatever. So then it'll flicker every once in a while. So if you get the right footage where you're asking the question at that moment where it flickers, then it appears like something's going on. So I don't trust a lot of the videos that are out there because it's like, you know, these guys can do whatever the fuck they want to make it look interesting.
I mean, you don't really know though, because I know I've seen a lot of fucking legit footage of shit and heard a bunch of shit that's totally legit. That it's kind of fucking almost hard to fucking believe is actually real. So I mean, but there's a lot of ways people can be fucking shitty about it and fake all the shit. But there's no doubt in my mind that there's, because I've seen it, been around it. I went to Waverly Hills and that place fucking changed me. So, you know, hopefully you get something when you go.
But that's one of the main things for me is like I like to go to all these places because I want something to happen. I want some crazy shit to happen, not to get YouTube views or anything like that. I just want to experience it and be like, "Holy shit, that was cool," you know?
Yeah, I totally get it, man. I used to do that shit all the fucking time, doing the ghost hunting thing and all that shit. I think it's fucking awesome.
I think it'd be fun.
I'm highly jealous. I'm highly jealous for going there. It's one place I've always wanted to go, and the Borden house too. It's pretty fucking cool.
Stayed at the
history as well.
Stayed at the Stanley Hotel out in Colorado, and we stayed in the Stephen King room, and fucking nothing happened. I actually, because it was like $500 to stay one night at the Stephen King room. It might be more now. This was a few years back, but I was sitting in there all night, you know, waiting for something to happen. Nothing's going on, and of course, everybody knows that's the room that Stephen King stayed in. So everybody comes up to the door and everything like that. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to try to get my money's worth. There was actually the door, if you closed it and just like kind of barely closed it, it would kind of just sit there, and then you could go and touch it again and make it the latch, and it would make a noise. And so these two girls, I remember these two girls and their dad came over, and they were like, taking pictures by the door and everything. And I could see them through the peephole, so I knew they were out there. So I set the door up to where it was just barely latched, and they're out there taking pictures and all that, and I just tap on it, and then it latches and makes that noise, and they're like, "Oh shit!" and they freak out, and I was like, their experience for the rest of their life is like, "Oh yeah, we were at the Stanley, and the door just like made this noise," because I was like, fucking nothing's going on, so I'm gonna try to get my $500 worth by fucking with these people, and that's about all it was. And then, like, in the middle of the night, I did end up going to sleep. And then in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, I heard this big bang, and I jump up, and I was like, "Oh shit, what is it? What is it?" And fucking my girlfriend at the time was there, and she's like, "Oh, I left the window unlocked, and it fucking blew open." I was like, "Get the fuck out." So never had any real good experiences. So hopefully we can get something that the viewers will enjoy next week. And
it'd just be funny if it'd be funny if like the guy and like his daughters or whatever watch this episode and they're like, "This cocksucker."
I knew it. I fucking knew it. This motherfucker. That would be actually quite amazing if they found this episode. Those specific people that found this episode and were like, "Oh, no shit."
Yeah, really.
Like, never mind. That place is.
But they do say they have a book there at the Velisca House of all the people that stay there, and they write their experiences, and they say almost every single person has an experience there. There's a guy named Johnny that's the caretaker who's been watching over the house for the last 20 some years, and he's got all kinds of stories. So maybe I could even get some footage with him, talking about it and give it a little bit more background.
I saw an interview with him today, actually, on the thing I was watching.
Yeah,
give one of his tours. Hell yeah! Hopefully we got to get some shit, man. It's gonna be awesome. I look forward to it.
So we'll have a live ghost tour, and then we'll fucking have ghost movies.
There we go.
Perfect Halloween night. Perfect Halloween episode. I dig it.
Yeah, I love Patrick Swayze.
Well,
No way. No, not that movie. I was just about to go make some clay. But no.
You're going to see me in the fucking Velisca house doing fucking pottery.
Oh, God.
Then see Patrick Swayze behind you caressing your hands. You're not doing the downward slope correctly.
The exact same way that Michael Myers caresses Corey Cunningham when they're riding on their motorcycle into the night.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
What a romantic kill we just did.
Well, before we go, does anybody have anything else going on?
Comic book. Tell us the podcast.com. Tales of Shock and Terror. It's our comic book. It's awesome. 3 stories. Check it out. Buy it. There we go.
Buy it. There you go. Well, that concludes this episode of Video Store Clerks. Make sure you like and follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tune in again next week for our special Halloween episode. We thank you again for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We are your clerks. Mike, is that a dead body behind you?